So much for the how do you do's, huh?
Yep, that's all right. We'll do that another time.
Sorry about that. Uh,
That's okay.
think,
Hello, everyone.
things
You
have
got to
been
start
slow.
somewhere.
It doesn't even say it's ready yet. You're jumping the gun. There we go.
Mine is Facebook Live.
Okay, well,
So
now we're
it's
good.
ready somewhere.
So you guys are a little ahead of the curve just in general. So yeah, we're slow up here in the north.
Why would it be any different when it comes to Facebook Live? Of course, we'd be ahead. That's natural.
Oh,
Hello,
so
Ian.
where's a good place to start when you got to start somewhere? What is?
Oh, seriously? I'm questioning the where do I start? This week has been the one of the it's not a challenging week. It's just there's a lot. And I suggested this topic because every day, almost every hour this week, I've had to go, okay, I've got to start somewhere, but where is that start? And I just have to go, okay, just pick up the next thing. So that's why this topic is so good.
Does it matter where you pick it up?
Well, I think that's part of the dilemma that I'm having, and maybe why I'm feeling a little more tired than I would normally feel, because there are external pressures
Hmm.
that are influencing what I need to pick up first
All right. So
or
why
next.
don't you give us something to grab onto here?
All right.
Oh.
A little bit of a backstory. I have just come off of 5 days of being at the Professional Speakers Convention, which is an amazing event. And this year was no different. It was phenomenal. The difference for me is as a board director, there's a little more things to do.
Mhm.
So not only am I attendee and wanting to learn for my own speaking part of my business, but I also need to be there to listen to other members who go, oh, I'm really thinking that this thing would be a good idea. Or they have an issue with something, or they'd like something else done, or they have just have a question about, oh, I hear that this program is available. Do you know more about that? And that's all great, but it puts an extra level on top. Now, we do have 11 members on the board, so that's great because we can share the
That's good.
load.
Share the
That's
wealth.
that's good. Um, but even still, 5 days of starting early, you go down to breakfast, you meet people, you're already on, you are talking to people, and it doesn't end until you get back to your room at, well, one night it was 11 o'clock for me in the evening. But the other nights I tried to get back to my room by 9 p.m. And it's just day after day after day. And then when I got back home, not only did I have all my washing that needed to be done, but I felt like all of the notes that I had taken for all of those things, my
Mhm.
own speaking business, all the board inquiries, we then had a strategy day. So there was some tasks to do out of that. People who wanted to connect with me further, people generously offering to have conversations to enhance me and build me up. I wanted to make sure I got all of that done in the first 5 minutes of the first day that I got back home. And you can't. It's like I had this pile of tasks and they'd just all been thrown into the middle of my lounge room floor, like a big pile of washing, which I also had. And you go, where do I start? Like, do I start with the what? Like, it was literally a practical question. Do I get a load of washing sorted first and get that on? Or do I check the hundreds of emails that I need to look at because I haven't looked at them for 5 days? Like, where do you start? And it was in that moment of overwhelm that I was like, wow, we like I get we just have to put one foot in front of the other and keep going, but I actually strive to live my life beyond that.
Mhm.
And this week, not sure that I've achieved that goal. I feel like I am literally putting one foot in front of the other.
Is it working or is it not working?
It's working to a point, but I haven't got over the pile is still there. In
Okay.
fact, just coming into this call, this is how much the pile is there. I have made an extra note in my calendar, go through emails this morning. Otherwise, I will forget.
You will not forget your emails. They will stare you in the face every time you sit down. So it's
So
it's
that's
it's
that's the backstory.
yeah, so what's the there's a couple of expressions around overwhelm or whatever, like it's just like you're paralyzed, right? Paralysis by analysis. You're paralyzed. Is that a word? No. You're
No, but it
paralyzed
is now.
based on the amount. You don't know where to start. So if I was to ask you if you had to make one or two top priorities out of all the stuff that was there, what would that most important thing be?
For me, it'd be sleep, but I don't get to make that choice yet.
Why not?
This is the whole thing, right? And I'm sort of joking about it, but I'm making sure I'm getting to bed a little earlier than I would normally, and I'm sleeping ridiculously well. Um, but yes, because I have to prioritize sleep. And yet there are other practical things that people are asking for that also need to be responded to. There seems to be, as the days go on, there seems to be a greater ability for me to go, I can acknowledge that message or that request, but I don't have to act on it immediately. So that I can move things out and not feel so squished in the priority because everybody's question is a priority for them.
What have you promised to anybody?
Nothing
So,
other than I will be in contact. Yes, I can take a look at that. We will I will note that and we will come back to you. You know, all of those sorts of phrases because I did not lock in anything with anyone.
and was that the was that established before you went away?
Um, for the board side of things, yes. Now this is not including clients. Clients I will respond to immediately. They do not get pushed aside. And this is part of the other priority, right? You get caught up in I went to this convention and now there's all these things out of convention that need to be tackled. But in actual fact, I also need to make sure that I'm prioritizing the current, what's in front of me
I
and what
guess
I
that's what
already
I
had
guess that's what I'm
scheduled.
asking is, was there any sort of agreement made with the organization on responding to all the things that happen after a conference?
No, that's just me and my um, need to please, probably, which is the reality. So I've been thinking about this since you articulated the heading. I know I presented some of the
Your
frustrations.
starting point was slightly different. It was something about momentum.
It was because I finding momentum, I think I was talking about. Like I just couldn't find the momentum. It's like, oh, do I have to do this? Like that was the feel. And so you coming back with got to start somewhere was actually more helpful.
Got to start
Um,
somewhere.
And I think that for me, that finding the momentum, it was like, why am I doing this now? And if there wasn't a strong enough why, I couldn't. I was just like, I'm not doing it. I'm going to do this other thing where there feels like a stronger why.
That's a pretty powerful thing that you've brought up. Because if you don't know why you're doing something, sometimes it's hard to have the motivation in order to do it. But if you understand the deeper why, especially the deeper why as how it relates to you, then there's a bit of momentum that's formed from the why And then the next piece is breaking down the tasks into small enough tasks that it looks like you're making progress.
Yes, so I had one example of that where I really, for me, for my sanity, I needed to have a conversation with one individual, and it covered off like 5 or 6 things. And I got to have that conversation late yesterday, which was great. And then what has transitioned out of that is 2 more calls that will have to be had with other people as a result. And I could take those 6 things that I had in the notes and go, okay, now I can allocate those 4 things got done, but this one thing needs to be spoken to about with this person, and this other one thing needs to be spoken to. And so now they've become separate tasks.
Right. So before it was like a big ball of yarn, and now you have separate threads. Before you didn't know where to start because you had no ends to grab at, right?
Yes.
But as you started to do something, it was easier to break them apart.
And instead of taking the approach of I still take this approach. I don't know if I'm ever gonna not do this, but my approach is like, okay, let's just get everything like everyone reached out to. Like, so the connections on LinkedIn and the emails that I said, yes, received your email. I've seen what you're talking about, like sort of the outward acknowledgement
Mhm.
happened. And then it allowed me a bit of a breather, because some people will take longer to get back to me because of their own world.
Mm.
And so then I can just go, oh, cool, I'm not going to think about that till they get back to me. And so it goes off my list. And it gives me a bit of a breather. But then there's still more things.
Yeah, so that's why I would ask you what your biggest 2 or 3 priorities are. Like what's important that I get done today.
And and I prioritized that this morning. I was very proud of myself. Like leading into this conversation, I'm like, right, Chris, you need to practice what you preach here. Notice I had to remind myself that I had to practice what I
We
preach.
all have to, but we all have a threshold that is probably over our capacity to deal with. Like if I come home at the end of a week, at the end of the week, and let's say I missed a few days of laundry, and nobody else does laundry around here, so it just becomes this massive load, and you end up with this pile. You don't even know where to start. But if you just start with, okay, I'm just going to sort it into colors and whites and sweats or whatever, and just do that, then now you have 3 distinct piles. Okay, which is the one that I want to tackle? Probably the big one. Okay, let's do that one first. And then you just put that and then you walk away. You did your sort, and then you got your specific task. You did that one specific task. You've now freed yourself to go do something else. But when that pile is so big, it's a mountain of laundry. It's just like, oh my God,
Where do I even start?
where do I begin?
So I took 2 approaches to this week, and it doesn't mean that it completely removed my overwhelm, which is why I was really keen to talk about it. Because even though I took some proactive things, it almost felt a bit frustrating because I still had this pile, even though I'd started. So um, the first day, what I actually did is I just organized everything, because my energy loves organization.
Hmm.
Like, give me a filing system, like every day. I love it. People think I'm crazy, but give me anything to organize. So I just organized things. So I didn't put any load of washing on that first day. I just organized it.
Hmm.
I didn't do any of the tasks other organizing them into the groups that they needed to go into, and going through the piece. So like, went through the all the bags that I had at so when I'm at convention, you pay for receipt, you pay for coffee here and a meal there, and the receipts end up in odd places. I get the receipts, but they end up in bizarre places. So I had to go through the luggage to go, oh, that's right, I tucked that receipt in there, didn't I? Oh yeah, I have to go and find it over here. So I like collated them and put them in a pile for later. But I had all the receipts together.
Hmm.
So I kind of did this organizing approach, but then I just had smaller piles, but still lots of piles to go through. So the organizing helped a little, but it still felt okay. Then now I've got 10 piles. Where do I start? But today I did do the prioritizing what I feel like I've started my day with healthy priorities.
Which are what?
I put me first. I sat down and enjoyed my coffee with my husband because I really haven't seen him for a week. And then when he went for work, I actually came out here to this room, which is where I do my client work. And I did all the client work that I needed to do or could do first up this morning. I did not even peek at the emails. They could all wait. It's like no one's going to care if I look at that email at 8 o'clock or at 10 o'clock today.
Mhm.
And so I prioritized me first, then my business, and then the extras will come later. And I have to keep doing that. Sometimes I forget.
When you do that though, how does it impact the whole, like the giant pile of laundry as the metaphor? When you prioritize yourself and then the next thing, how does that serve you?
Well, I think I can approach it with better brain matter. And it sounds a bit ridiculous, but it's like my brain has settled a little.
It's free.
So I can process things more sensibly. After 5 days convention, it's a little bit tired. I'm a little bit tired. So one of the things I wrote in my journal this morning was intention to be rational. Because I know when I'm tired, I'm not always rational.
Mm.
And so it's like setting up not only my intention and my emotional system to be rational, but actually applying that rationality to all the tasks in front of me, which gives me, like you said, a bit more space to choose what I would like to do next. And coming back into the uh, why that helps, like when I've got my why, it helps me to make better choices.
Right. And you've also tackled the why of what's important to you first. You had
Yeah,
coffee with hubby, right? Something that you've probably missed a little bit over the past convention week for sure.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, the thing that I was curious about was wondering, was there anything new in your pile that you didn't know how to attack?
Yes. And then after on the second day, because I was like, I don't even know where to start with this thing. Like, this is a puzzle that I don't know how to put together. And then I went, who can I ask? Who can I ask for help with this?
Hmm.
That was a phone call I had yesterday. Um,
And what did that open up?
well, it opened up that I wasn't alone in this puzzle, that the questions I had for that puzzle, other people also have. So I'm not isolated in my shaking my head at what do I do now with this information. And so once I don't feel isolated, it feels much easier because I sort of have someone else in my corner, that I'm not the only one trying to tackle this I don't know thing.
Yeah.
And
I think
asking for
that's,
help was really
yeah, that's
helpful.
huge. That's so important because I think we all think we have to do everything alone, but we don't have to do it all alone. It's that, oh my God, the pile's so huge. This is, I have to take care of this. Oh, poor me, whatever. But when you are able to reach out and get support, it frees you up to be able to do some of the other things. Or maybe it's time to ask for more help for other things.
Yes, it was really exposing where do I need help. And it's very interesting to watch that play out. And I need to ensure that I don't make rash decisions when it comes to that and allow the next couple of weeks to play out to really see whether I do need help or it was just 5 days of being in convention. I was really tired and I didn't have as much bandwidth. So I'm going to let myself sort of observe that a little longer to ensure that all the conditions are a little more stable before I make any changes.
Right.
So you came back with that heading. Did you have something this week that felt a little overwhelming?
Well, I have a couple of projects that I've been wanting to do but haven't gone very far. And one of them in particular was, and I think I've talked to you about this before, that I've offered some balances, I've offered coaching, but I've never done them together, and I've wanted to do that for a while. Somebody came to me this weekend or last couple of weeks, and it was like, I think this is the perfect person to do this with. So I made that offer and it was accepted. And it's really cool. Yeah, I know. And I'm excited to do the work, but trying to structure how it works logistically is how I was struggling. What's the right frequency? How does it work? How's the timing going to be? And I went through a myriad of different options of how it could work. But at some point, you just have to pick one and go with it and then adjust as you go. You don't know what you don't know. So when you ask me this question, I'm like, yeah, you just got to start. You just got to start somewhere. And it'll develop from there. I know I'll provide the best possible service that I can provide. And if things need to be adjusted, I'll make the suggestion of, you know what, I think what we should do is we should probably switch these two things around and that kind of thing, because I think it's going to serve you better. So I know I will get there, but my personality tends to be I want to get it right up front the first time. Yeah, yeah. But you don't know what it is until you've done it.
No.
So there's an expression a colleague of mine uses, a colleague and friend, and she always says, "Start small, but don't be small." So the way I always take that is you just gotta try something and then move forward from there. Don't hide yourself or stay in the back corner. Offer up that service, provide that service, do the best that you can, and tweak it as you go. But don't not offer it because you're afraid to or whatever the case may be.
It
So
sounds, for me, what I'm hearing is you take full ownership and start there and own what the decision is that you make about, okay, I'm doing this thing first.
mhm.
That's what's happening. And not go, oh, I shouldn't have started that or I shouldn't have done it that way. No, no, that's how it needed to start. And now it can change.
Yeah, and it'll grow and evolve and be what it's going to be. But if I don't, it won't.
Yeah. And we just have to start. I think that's the thing. We just pick it up and start. And even if we do feel like we're just putting one foot in front of the other and we're kind of making it up and we don't know if it's right and we don't have all the confirmations and all of that, they'll appear.
Mhm.
They'll arrive and we won't always be putting one foot in front of the other. We will actually feel that space the more we move through.
I had the one foot in front of your other down here on the paper, but I was afraid to use it again because you didn't want to just put one foot in front of the other.
No, but sometimes it's needed.
Yeah, no, it totally is.